So you're thinking of selling your house? Stay tuned on the top 5 pitfalls to avoid. Hi, this is Joy Larson with the Joy team in the Keller Williams Greater Cleveland market. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're talking about pitfalls. We do not like to fall into a pit, right? We don't like going through trials and all of that. Well, we're going to talk about the top 5 things to avoid when selling your house. All right, let's start with the first pitfall. The first pitfall is the packing pitfall. This is for those who have not gotten started. Let me just say, as soon as you think you're selling your house, I recommend, and it could be 1 to 2 years out if you're thinking down the road, you should start to de-junk and declutter, because the worst thing that we have to do is when we list a house and we only have 2 days to prep and there is stuff everywhere, sellers get actually less than they would have otherwise. So by just decluttering, de-junking, start the process now. And the packing pitfall is when you haven't packed it all. So just start now while you're thinking about it. And for those of you minimalists, you won't have any problem with that. Second pitfall that we've seen happen is the financing pitfall. So a lot of times we get offers in and somebody might be saying, oh my word, I had the best offer and it was over asking and all of that. And then all of a sudden it falls through 2 days later and you're like, oh, what happened? That was amazing. Well, you need to check that pre-approval letter. Did they just get a verbal? Was it done over the phone without any documentation? Or has that lender looked through everything, gotten all those W-2s and their income and all of that so that it is smooth sailing so that these people can buy your home? Because we had that just recently where this person should not have, we called up the lender and they're like, yeah, it was a verbal pre-approval. They did not give their W-2s or anything. So do they have the money really? Because when you do a deep dive, sometimes there's stuff that they don't share in that first initial visit. So do they have all the documents in? Is it a true pre-approval? And it will show on that financing end if it has been looked at, their W-2s, as well as talking to that lender if you're going to accept that offer. All right, pitfall number 3 is title. I've had this recently where there was some liens on the property. And guess what? When you have liens on the property, and especially if they're federal tax liens or things like that, that is a 10 to 14 day automatic delay. So as soon as they find out, it could be 10 to 14 days till we're able to close. So it's going to delay closing potentially. And that is frustrating, especially if you have another place that you want to go across country, right? So make sure that all of those details, back taxes, easements, that title work is paid for and all those liens are paid off. Number 4, the inspection pitfall. All right, just know that even if you put an as is, and we've been seeing this all the time, the seller does not want to, it's an as is, I am not doing any work. Well, inspection comes back. The buyer says, oh my word, there is mold in the whole attic. And you're like, nope, I said as is. Well, do you want the deal to fall apart? You can toe the line if you're in multiple offers, not a problem. But if this was your only offer, there are no other offers in play, do you really want it to fall apart? Or do you want to give that buyer some money or fix that mold in the attic? So we've seen stuff like that happen. So even though you say as is, just be flexible. Know that a buyer may ask for things even with that word as is, depending on how much it is. Number 5, the appraisal pitfall. We have actually recently been seeing appraisals come back low. We've actually had 2 come back low recently. So you need to keep that in mind, that even though the buyer and the seller all agree on this price, that appraiser may appraise it lower. So what we are looking for is an as is, at value. That's all you as a seller care about, is it's at value. And if not, well, then we need to make some adjustments and we go back to the negotiating table. Make sure when that appraiser comes, a lot of people just have a mess everywhere. Even though appraisers should not look at your house like that, if it is a disaster, they may not appraise it as high as those buyers who bought the house from, because it was immaculate, perfect, and clean. So make sure to do that. Get the dog out of the house when the appraiser comes so that it is quiet and clean and nice and smells good, so that then he could or she could look at that house value and appraise it well. All right, well, I hope those 5 pitfalls will help you just know all the little details about real estate. Make sure to text us on our team if you have any questions, as well as check out our other videos, and we'll see you next time.